Now, this video went viral and is the only one where I actually agree with the homeowner association. I would say that some of the worst American nightmares that I see online are coming from these homeowners association. So believe me that it's rare that I actually agree with this lady. As you can see, the video has 1.8 million views. And the opinions are actually divided here. Like, some people disagree with me, which means that they're wrong. Like, if you disagree with me, you're flat out wrong. So let's see what the video is about.
Hey, so I'm going to ask you to keep them inside.
For what reason?
So I am the president of the HOA. I've had numerous people complaining about a noise complaint. Numerous.
They're being kids.
I mean, I have like almost 10 houses now have contacted me.
Okay.
I hate this job.
Obviously you don't, because you're still doing it.
Well,
a lot of people think that this is an own. I don't think anyone likes doing the job, but someone has to do it. Although I suppose, like, this is the point. The person doesn't want a homeowner association, but for some reason they move in a neighborhood where there is a homeowner association. Like, how does that work? And the second thing, I assume this person is new because the homeowner association had to introduce themselves, right? So, like, this is a very entitled family that moves into a neighborhood and apparently gets 10 complaints. Now, here's the thing. It must have been quite bad if you're getting 10 complaints. So, what are the opinions on Twitter? Well, the opinions is that they agree with this guy that kids are kids. And I vehementally disagree. I think kids are the way their parents raised them to be. Especially when you see the kids at the beginning. They don't seem like they're 5 or 7. They seem to be capable of some level of higher cognitive thought. And from my experience, from my knowledge, growing up into a neighborhood with people from all walks of life, usually when darkness descends upon the neighborhood, and it's after 10 p.m., people need to shut the fuck up and be quiet. Because people gotta sleep. People gotta go to work next morning. And you know what? Since you're speaking of kids, yeah, I also happen to have one, and he's very young. And usually if he hears loud noises, it wakes him up. Do you know what he does when he wakes up? Starts crying. It's very difficult to put him back to sleep, right? So if you're an unconsiderate prick towards other people and their kids, why are you surprised? Why are you getting Pikachu face when people are filing noise complaints against you? Like, usually when you move into these places, these gated communities, you are told the rules before you move. They don't sneak up on you. You know, like, unless maybe you're like one of those old guys that was living there for a while, and all of a sudden, everyone else started agreeing to these rules that you don't consent. And I would understand with the situation a little bit more. But, like, what really annoys me is when you have these entitled people that are moving into a neighborhood, and then they do not care about the rules that are there, rules that they have been informed before moving in. And there are so many other neighborhoods that you can choose. Why did you choose this one? And yeah, no, seriously, like, regarding the parenting, like, when I was a kid, I think I was like maybe 6 or 7 that my parents managed to tell me. And at the age of 6 or 7, I wasn't very smart and bright, but I was capable of some level of higher cognitive thought, right? And they told me, it's like, look, you can play outside all the way up until 10. And sometimes they even let me play around 11, and whatever. But the rule was, like, once it's getting dark, and it didn't matter, like, obviously it's getting dark faster during the winter than it is during the spring. But they were saying, like, when it's getting dark, keep the noise down. And if I didn't, they would lock me in the house for the next 2 or 3 days. They would ground me. And then I realized, okay, if I want to keep playing, if I want to keep enjoying, then I need to do that. And the other kids that I was playing with, you know what they had? Also these mystical creatures called parrots. And I don't know what education they were getting, but they were behaving similar to me. So it is actually possible to make sure that kids are quiet after dark. Again, there are other people that have younger kids, that have babies in the house. And usually, if it's noisy, if you have, like, dogs barking, if you have cats meowing, if you have other kids screaming, it wakes the little one up. And then it starts screaming as well. So isn't it nice if you can avoid it, especially during the dark? But no, apparently a lot of people on Twitter disagree with me. A lot of people on Twitter say that kids should be kids and the homeowner association is wrong. How is she wrong, though? Like, in any civilized place, as far as I know, you're not supposed to make noises at night. It's called disturbing the public peace, isn't it? Like, would it be better if they call the cops and you get a fine? Because I think, like, that's also an option. If you make loud noises, yeah, like, they can call the cops on your kids, and then they can get a fine. Probably they're not going to be the ones that pay it, but the parents are. So I guess, like, this is the civilized solution. Like, if you just don't like the homeowner association coming to your house and just having a normal conversation with you and explaining to you the situation that you're bothering 10 other households. Now assuming like every single household has around 2 to 3 people, you're probably bothering around 20 or 30 other individuals. That's how inconsiderate you are. And you're bothering her as well, so it's like 21 or 31, right? But yeah, like, you're bothering the neighbors, you're bothering everyone else. And you're still being a dick about it when they actually tell you. You know what they do in my country? They don't tell you. They just call the cops. And then you have a police officer which is going to ask your kids for ID. Seriously. And if they don't have ID, then who's your parents? Where do they live? And then you wake up with the knock of a cop at your door. And they're going to be like, well, your kids were being too loud. It's like, well, yeah, but the kids are kids. Yeah, but you're the parent and you're supposed to take care of that. And again, like it's one thing if it's during the day and they're playing, which is fine. And it's another thing when it's like during the night, as we get to see here, like it's literally dark outside. Right? God. I genuinely don't understand. And again, I think people are siding against the homeowner association just because they hate homeowners associations. And I respect the sentiment, but at the same time, imagine you're living in that neighborhood, right? You're living in that neighborhood, and when you move in, you're told that after certain hours, things are quiet. Because it's what you want to do, right? You chose to live in a gated community. You chose to live in that place. Like, you could have got a house on a hill or a farm in a rural area with no one around for 10 miles, and then you can literally do whatever you want. But no, you chose... I mean, if you have the money to do this, you have the money to buy a farm, right? Like, but you chose that you don't want to buy a farm. You chose that you want to live in a city next to other people, and at the same time, you're being inconsiderate about what other people are doing. So yeah, I do think that people are siding against the HOA just because they hate HOA in general. But if I was in that neighborhood and I would have a neighbor that's being this inconsiderate, I would just buy pigeons. I would buy pigeons so that they shit his entire yard. And that they shit his car and they shit everything. And I would be like, well, I mean, they're just pigeons. I mean, they're birds. Why can't I do that? Right? You buy like 5 dogs, make sure they're loud, or buy some parrots, macaw. Buy some macaw parrots, Google what it is. Apparently their screech can be heard from 1 mile away. The windows are vibrating when they go caw, caw. Right? I mean, look, if we're going to one-up each other, this is what people do in Eastern Europe, which is why, usually here, parents are very careful to teach their kids to be considerate because they know what other parents do and they know what other neighbors do. It's like, if you try to mess with me, I will just one-up you. I will find another way that's also legal, but it's also going to be incredibly annoying to you. And then we can see who's who. The difference is that I have a very wild imagination, and I can figure out multiple ways, again, that are legal, but also incredibly inconvenient. Now I usually keep myself in check. I like to respect people, and I hope I get respected in return. But like, if you go out of your way to disrespect me, then it's on. Let me know what you guys think. And as usual, I will see you in the comment section. Take care.